Well, hello and happy Tuesday evening to you all. It is live with Gotham Quilts, and I am live for once. Actually, not for once, but this week. Last week, if you caught the show, I was at jury duty, and so we had to pre-record the video. But the good news is I got that postponed, and so now here I am live on another Tuesday evening with you, and I could not be more excited to talk to you today about this quilt kit. If you saw the what am I thinking of? If you saw the listing, if you saw the email, you know that today we are going to talk about the Show and Tell quilt by Elizabeth Hartman. It is all the rage. It's fabulous. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story, and I don't want you to feel bad for me, but this owning a quilt shop is a little bit like the cobbler's shoes, or the cobbler's children have no shoes, right? The quilt store owner never ever gets to sew anything fun, but this one I couldn't not sew. I am coming to you with firsthand knowledge of just how fun and adorable and fantastic this particular quilt pattern is. So let's get into it. I've given you the little preamble. I've let you know that this is one that I actually got to sew up. I have one block here with me to show you, but really excited to bring this to all of you. So if you are not familiar with Elizabeth Hartman, she is I would say, prolific pattern writer. She writes some really involved patterns. Her patterns are just the most adorable things ever. They make a great use of color and linen. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that too, but Elizabeth likes to use some maybe unexpected fabrics in her patchwork piecing, but she is a master with color. She makes really adorable pieced animals, or pieced things. There's animals. I guess there's cats in astronaut suits. That's another one of my favorites. Cats in pajamas is also very cute. She's got some kind of woodland themed things too. But in any event, her pieces, her quilts are always very cute, and you'll get an idea of this when I show you the image for the Show and Tell quilt. But her patterns are really generally like booklets. They are super well written. They're fairly involved. There's a lot that go into it. And so what a lot of people will do with Elizabeth's patterns is you can make this as big or as small as you want to. You can take one of these really cute blocks and make a pillow. You can make a small quilt. You can make a big quilt. And so there's lots of variety in that. You can make it whatever you'd like to. But all this to say, kind of circling back to the theme of today, is that Elizabeth Hartman is a master with color, and she loves color. She does it very well. Um, the reason that this is so exciting at this point in time is, for a while, Elizabeth designed with Robert Kaufman. Robert Kaufman would have her fabric. She would put out a handful of lines that would be really they're kind of very small, dainty prints that look really, really good in her patterns. A lot of her patterns cut those pieces into relatively small pieces. So big scale prints don't work super well with these particular patterns. But what we're really excited about is she is now with Moda Fabrics. And I think this is going to be a match made in heaven. Nobody asked me, but I think this is going to be a match made in heaven. And already we're seeing something fabulous. So I'm going to show for you just a second the new fabric that came out to coincide. It just kind of happens to coincide with this particular quilt kit. But you can see here, we've got a line of Bella solids. So Bella is the name that Moda puts their solids under. And if you haven't sewn with Bella solids, they've got a really nice hand to it. So, we carry both Bella and Art Gallery Fabrics solids in the store. We've got the entire collection of Art Gallery, and then we've got a good portion of the Bella, including this particular line that you're looking at right now. Now, the cool thing about this is this line is called Elizabeth's favorites. And these are a total of 25 different fabrics that were hand-picked or designed by Elizabeth Hartman. And I had to move myself out of the way so you can see this last brown color here. But this is 25 fabrics. Elizabeth picked out, she designed 18. She created 18 colors and then picked 7 existing colors from the Moda Bella Solids lineup to make this really cohesive collection of solids. So we've got all of these solids in the shop. If you want yardage of these, come check us out. Right now, they're on the Tiny Apple website. So if you go to tinyapplefabric.com, you'll be able to find them there. But the good news, I can't even wait for our housekeeping items here. I have to tell you about this right now. We are inches away. We're so close, I can taste it, to getting all the pieces in place so that our products automatically port over to the Gotham website. So we are within, I would say, less than a month of having that Gotham website fully populated, and back to the glory and having fabulous notions and fabrics to choose from. But in the meantime, feel free to head over to tinyapplefabric.com to pick up any of the things that maybe we talk about, or if you're looking for something, if you're looking for some solids for a project, feel free to head over there. But this is the collection of Elizabeth's favorites. And again, it's 25 fabrics. Now, you know she's going to do something fabulous with this wonderful collection of solids. And that is the exciting part. That's what we're here to talk about today. And that is the new pattern called Show and Tell. And you can see these adorable animals. These are 100% pieced, traditionally pieced. There's no templates. There's no foundation paper piecing. There's no English paper piecing. Each one of these little animals is holding up a quilt. And I'm going to just go to the block that we have here. So this is just one of those animals up closer. This is the bunny, and the bunny is holding a little churn dash quilt. Let me tell you about a couple of great things about this quilt and this pattern, and then I'll go back to the kit and some of those background options. So with this, there are 4 different animals, as you saw before, and each of those 4 animals, you get 3 versions of them. They're holding a quilt. So you're going to have a quilt. If you make the whole big version, you're going to have 12 different animals, each holding a different quilt. Now, here's the cool thing. This quilt in the middle here, right where you see the churn dash, not including the border. So there's a little bit of that mint green border, and then you can see the binding. Not including that, it's a 12-inch finished block, so 12 and a half inches unfinished. You can, and you better believe that we will, port any 12-inch block in there for your animals to be holding. So it really is, not only do you get these wonderful quilt patterns, these wonderful block patterns in the main pattern for the show and tell quilt, but you can add your own creative flair to it. So let's talk about the kit for just a second. So when you get the kit through us, you will have your option of 2 different sizes and 2 different background choices. So you can see here, this is the first one. This is going to be the full size quilt. And the full size is 75 by 85. I forgot my note here with the pattern. But you get 75 by 85 is my recollection of what that says. I am so sorry if I misquoted the sign, but it is in our listing. I just didn't grab it before we went on camera. And I thought I was so prepared. In any event, you get, for the big size, you'll have 2 different options for your background fabric. And that's what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, get a little bit more information in your hands about that. So the recommendation from Elizabeth Hartman is to use this unbleached linen, and I've got a sample here. It looks a little bit darker in this image than it actually is in real life, and this is what that fabric looks like. Now, this is from Moda as well. This is, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like 5.5 ounces or 6.5 ounces per square yard. But it really is kind of, you can see it's a little bit drapey. It's a nice feel to it. Let's see here. We'll make us a little bit more even so that we can see here. There we go. So here is that linen fabric. Now this is 70% cotton and 30% linen. So it is a little bit thicker than just regular quilting cotton than the solids in that kit, but it's not so thick that it's going to give you problems. And you can just kind of see the drape on this. There's a couple of helpful hints that I can give you that we'll go over after I go through the kit options of things that will help you out if linen is new to you. So stay tuned for those helpful hints and I'll continue on with that. But here is the linen. You can see it's quite a bit lighter in person than it is on that picture. The picture makes it just look a little bit darker. So with that, you've got the linen option. You also have, let's see here, there we go. There we go. You also have the option of the background that I chose. And I'm going to hold this one up to the screen so you could see it. This one is a regular quilting cotton. This is in the line called Paparazzi by Riley Blake. And you can see there are little dots in there. I'll show you a picture that'll give you an even better view, but it just gives kind of a fun, cool, slightly more modern, less, yeah, I would say a little bit more modern feel to these blocks with that background there. So let's change gears here for just a second and we'll bring up a closer image of that particular bunny that was right in the eye and the ear. And so you could see that dotted background there. So those are the two choices for the quilt kit, either linen, which was the first one we talked about, or the cotton, which is this one. And that is just like a regular quilting cotton, just a little bit of an extra zhuzh for the background there. Now, if 12 blocks might be a little more than you care to do, we also have the smaller kit. So you can get the kit with us with just to make 4 animals. And so this is going to make a quilt that's 45 inches by 57 inches, a really nice, kind of a small lap size, a really great wall hanging. Here's the thing I love about our kit is in the pattern. So each of these different blocks, you're going to get 12 different ones to choose from, the quilts that the animals are holding up. Each one requires different amounts and different colors of fabric, although they are all in the same family. You can see the bunny is holding the green and that super bright apple neon green and into teal. We've got the deer who's holding blues and purples. We've got the bear who's holding very cute peaches in corals. That I'm not going to pick favorites. The bunny is my favorite, but the bear is my second favorite. And then we've got our very shy fox who is using these very earthy tones in mustard and some of those greens. What we're doing in the kit is instead of following the instructions on the pattern to make this exact quilt exactly as it's shown, we're giving you all of the fabric to make any of the blocks. And so you're going to have some extra fabric that you're not going to use. That is for sure. But what you get is the ability to pick any one of those quilts that you make, or you can make your own little mini quilt. So this is the same option as before. It's the smaller quilt, again, 45 inches by 57 inches. And you have the same background choices, either the cotton that's going to include that paparazzi, so those dots there, or you can choose the linen. And oops, I'm going the wrong way here. I keep wanting to sell the big quilt because I think it's the cute one. I mean, this is cute too, but boy, if you're going to go big, right? So those are the background choices for the kits that Tiny Apple has prepared. And I'll put that QR code up there just one more time. And this will bring you to those quilt kit options as well as the patterns. So if this is also something that is really really fun to use, like your scraps, or if you've got a huge collection of solids in your stash, pick up the pattern. It's a really lovely booklet. It really is a booklet. You've got staples in the middle and everything, because Elizabeth Hartman really goes through all of the steps that you need to know really well, and it is a really very well written pattern. There's lots of information in there. So the pattern is well written, but with our kits, we are also offering a sew along option. And that is with any purchase, any show and tell purchase, whether you get the kits, whether you get the big one, the small one, or the pattern through us, you will get invited to the community site where we'll have a special area just for the show and tell folks. And this is going to be a great place where you can get all kinds of additional information. Like, we're very excited about the fact that you could put your own blocks in there. So you better believe we're going to give you some bonus blocks there. Also tips and tricks along the way, and special cutting instructions. The way that the pattern is written is it's meant to be very modular. So you can take and make one block, you can take and make 4, you can make 12, you could make, 24 if you cared to. And so what we're providing for our customers is a more streamlined, if you're making all 12 blocks, there is a very efficient way to cut that fabric so that maybe you'll have a little bit extra. Maybe you want to make an extra block for a pillow or something like that. And it also just takes the guesswork out of that. If you've ever made an Elizabeth Hartman pattern before, that I would say is maybe one of the good and bad things, is how modular it's meant to be, in that you can make one block or you could make all of them. And so the cutting instructions are not always the most efficient. She'll tell you how many to cut for sure, and it'll always be accurate and helpful. But we're just going that extra step and providing the information. If you are going to make the 12, here's how you do it. You could just heads down and cut. So that is the quilt kit. I'm going to have to check the comments here to see. Oh yeah, Raquel, they are so cute, and just so fun. So really appreciate all the comments in the chats there. So I am pleased. I am pleased that this was the quilt that I got to make. Now, who knows if I'm going to make it all the way through all of that, because there are always competing priorities. But this is definitely one that I am making time to make because it's just that fun. So that is show and tell. Now, there are a couple of things that are going to make your life a little bit easier when you are working on an Elizabeth Hartman quilt, or if you're working with linen. If you are so inspired by the beautiful texture of a linen product like this and want to add that into your piecing, like I say, it's something that Elizabeth Hartman really is known for, and I thank her for bringing just stepping out of the box, bringing such fun things. Like, we don't have to stick with just quilting cotton. We can bring linen into what we're doing. So here are a couple of tips that will help you if you want to incorporate linen into your patchwork quilting, into your piecing. Now, the one thing that I would highly recommend, now I don't often recommend this, but in this case I do, is to pre-shrink your linen. Now, this one that's in the kit is going to be 70% cotton and 30% linen. So that's a great deal of just regular cotton in there. So this one is probably going to be a little less, but sometimes you'll end up with linen where you might not know, or you might have purchased it where you don't remember the quantity of linen to cotton. Pre-shrink is going to be your friend, and you'll want to wash that on hot water to get that shrunk as much as you possibly can before you start sewing. This is probably the one and only time you're going to hear me say pre-wash that fabric. Generally not a fan of that. Um, Another piece that I'm a huge fan of, and that is starching or sizing your fabric. And so for this guy here, just some Mary Ellen's Best Press was enough. There's a lot of pieces. There are some relatively small pieces, and there's a lot of things going together. And so something like Best Press, if you want to even go the next step up, Material Magic, or if you've seen our Gotham Live a few weeks ago on starches, there are lots of different alternatives in there. If you want to use something a little more natural, vodka was surprisingly a really great option. Certainly diluted. Please don't use it full strength, but catch that previous live with Gotham Quilts to get the full scoop on all of the different starches and sizing methods that we tried. That's going to be your friend in this one, whether you're using the linen or whether you're using cotton or anything in between. Starching is going to be your friend. Not only does it help you get very precise cuts on your fabric, but it also helps to control the fray. It keeps those fibers together until you're ready to sew them. And so like this particular guy, you could see he's kind of losing some threads here a little bit, but he has been in my luggage. He's been up and down, and I've brought him over here a bunch of times. And so that really is not too bad for how much movement that poor little bunny has been seeing in the recent history here. Uh, we've got a thumbs up for vodka being the best. So not bad. If my recollection is correct, and Raquel, tell me if you do a different one, but I think it was diluted 3-to-1, 3 parts water and 1 part vodka, and that worked out fabulous. And yeah, save the high end stuff for your cocktails. You don't need it here. That's a great question. It looks like Barbara had mentioned the availability looks pretty low. These are kits that we can make more of. And so we're starting off with a certain number. I will say that at this point in time, the limiter is the patterns. We've got more patterns on order, but those aren't in quite yet. That's the other piece that I forgot to mention, is that the pattern is included in the kit, which is why that is our limiter. But we always have a wait list option. We always if you sign up for that particular option, we can email you when the kit is available again. But so don't let the availability worry you unless you really wanted to get started on this quilt right away. And in that case, I would say go ahead and add it to your cart and check out so that you could be on the first round. Oh, Raquel does half and half. Nice. I like that. I assume you're talking about your starching and not necessarily your cocktails, but either way, however you roll is just fine with me. So we talked about some tips in working with that. Another great option is to sew with a microtex needle. So if you caught our Gotham Live, gosh, maybe about 4 weeks ago at this point, we went all over needles too. So if you want to get the scoop on your sewing machine needles, just go through your Live with Gotham should be all in a playlist, so that you can catch all of the things that we're talking about. But we did talk about needles. The microtex needles just have a slightly sharper point than some of the other needles, like a quilting needle, or even the super nonstick that I like to use. Microtex needle will pierce through that linen, so it will definitely help you there. 80/20 is a great option for this linen. So we talked about that. Speaking of sharp things, a nice sharp rotary blade will help you with this. Again, with linen, you are a little bit more apt to fray. And so some of the things that we're doing here, starching, pre-shrinking, using a super sharp rotary blade, is just to help control the fray on this. And that will just make things nice and neat. You don't end up losing threads and then shrinking the size of your piece here. So a sharp rotary blade, always in style, but especially when you are sewing with linen. And then a couple of helpful hints. Now, I do not worry. I'm not giving away all the hit tips here as we go through this pattern and as we find out where maybe some people get stuck or hung up. We're going to be putting all of those things we find in the Gotham community site. And again, when you sew along with us, when you get the kit or the pattern through us, you'll be invited to that community site where we'll have videos, and I'm really excited about the things that are going into that site. Um, yes, we carry some linen fabric. I'm pretty sure that's my mom here. So hi, mom. But we do have some linen fabric. This one is a great background. It's just a very neutrally color with a lot of character in there. Let's get that up to the screen. It's we don't have a lot of like garment linen, but we do carry some linen. We also have a lot of our canvas is actually a linen cotton blend, and they're probably about this weight or lower. So if you are looking for linen or canvas, do be sure to check out our website. Yeah, she said, yes, it's my mom. Do check out our website. We've got a whole canvas section. We've got about 140 different canvases in the shop right now. And so, yes, let me answer this question. Raquella asked about the Quilter Select rotary cutters, pro or con. I don't have strong feelings on the Quilter Select specifically, but I will tell you which one I actually love, and that is the Famore rotary cutter, Famore. And I can put that in the chat here. The reason that I love the Famore rotary cutters is a couple of different things. They stand behind their blades. Their blades are super sharp Japanese steel, and they are very reasonably priced. In addition, Famore offers to sharpen their own blades. They'll sharpen other blades for a fee, but they'll sharpen theirs for free. The reason that I love the Famore cutter the most is because of how it works. It's not like a traditional blade where your blade is being held to your cutter by friction. This one there's a ball bearing in there which rolls like butter. It rolls like butter. It's fabulous. And so it's very easy to use. It's great for either left or right handers, but it's that ball bearing that gets me, and that you don't have to tighten or loosen it to get a good cut. You tighten it as much as you can and just trust that that ball bearing will take care of the rest. Let me figure out. Oh, here's that. So I'm going to just put that in there. Clearly, I cannot talk and type at the same time. So, but yeah, Quilter Select. The good news is that when you work at a quilt shop, they'll tell you what they love and they'll tell you what they hate. I haven't heard any negative things about Quilter Select at all. But like I say, we love the Famore. In addition to that, if you are a Stripology fan, if you've used the Stripology rulers, so Stripology rulers are designed. It's acrylic ruler, depending on if you have a big one or a small one, with all the slits in the middle. The Famore cutter works really well in the Stripology ruler because it gives you enough clearance when you have the blade out, or when the guard is retracted, maybe I should say. It gives you enough clearance to get all the way down to the bottom of that. So you just think you're trying to cut through about 1/4 inch of acrylic in those slits, and you get enough clearance to do that there. So, boy, Raquella, I think, boy, you probably asked a question that you were not ready for such a long answer, but do give it a shot. It's one of our most popular in the shop, the Famore. So, in any event, a couple of other really cool things about this quilt, and I'll give you some more hints in this, is there are, as you can see, a number of pieces in this guy, right? Each of these blocks has a number of pieces, and so you need something to keep you organized through all that. Wonder clips are great, especially if you have them labeled like little stickers on your Wonder clips. I love the ABC pins. Sorry, ABC pins, PIN, and those just have the labels at the top. A lot of people have little markers that you put on your pin. You slip it through between that and the fabric. Anything with the alphabet, you're basically going to need the entire alphabet, A through, it's pretty close to like W or X. I think W is the biggest that I've seen. And you're going to need a couple of each one because you're going to have letters for the block, and you're also going to have letters for the animal. So whatever you use to make sure that you stay nice and organized would be great. If you caught last week's pre-recorded Gotham Not So Live, I showed you some trays, like a kind of like a TV tray or a dinner tray, breakfast in bed tray. One of those things are great to keep these pieces organized. And then the last tip that I will give you, and I'm going to switch to this one, is, oh, I guess I cropped it, but you can see that there are a number of flip and stitch or snowballed corners in the top of the ear. You can see one in the bottom right hand where his hand is holding the quilt. I guess I don't know why I assume it's a he, the bunny. But in any event, there are a lot of pieces that are relatively small. Here's the bonus tip that I wasn't prepared to share because I didn't get a good picture of it. But anytime you have a little corner like that where you're just an inch maybe is what you're sewing, I highly recommend shortening your stitch length. You don't have a lot of real estate, and so when you shorten your stitch length, you get more stitches on that piece, and then it just kind of folds over a little bit nicer. So anytime you have those snowball things or just a inch or two where you're sewing over it, shorten your stitch length. The normal recommendation, if you're normally sewing at like a 2 or a 2.2, 1.5 is a good place to start so that you can get those little bits really settled. So that is what we've got today. I am really so happy and excited to bring to you this quilt. Oh, you're so welcome, Raquella. I'm glad we were very able to help. And Sandra, you ask a fabulous question back to the Femore cutters. Yes, they have the we'll call it the regular size hole for them. So if you use like an Olfa blade, a Fisker's blade, those all fit in here. The one that I am almost certain is the Martelli, I believe is what it's called. That one has a much smaller hole. It does not fit for this, but Olfa, Fisker's, the Femore blades obviously work with that. Any of those normal size ones. Great question, Sandra. So that is show and tell. I hope that you will come and sew along with us in the Gotham community. We would love to have you, and we're, like I say, we're so excited about this particular quilt. It has just wowed everyone away. So do scan that QR code if you are looking for the kits or the pattern. We've got those, and not to worry. Don't be turned off by maybe if you see just a few patterns in inventory. We've got another shipment on the way of that, and plenty of those Bella Solids in Elizabeth's favorite colors. So we're really great to see what she and Moda do next, because yeah, like I say, match made in heaven. So with that, we will move on to housekeeping. Who's been so excited for housekeeping? It's not that exciting, but we do have a couple of very exciting things. Tomorrow is our thread talk with Sarah Felke. We are so excited to have her. So you've got just about a day, a little bit less than a day left to register. If you haven't, Sarah is going to talk all about her design process. We are going to get to peek into the brain of a longtime educator, a creative. She does some amazing block of the months and lots of really cool and fun and unique patterns. So if you want just a little sneak peek into how the design process works, designing a quilt, it really is just to walk through how she approaches these kinds of things. So do sign up for that a thread talk with Sarah Felke. That is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully daylight savings time didn't throw you guys in too much of a loop. I see a lot of you here, so maybe maybe it worked out okay. But I tell you what, if anybody is going to run for office on a platform of getting rid of daylight savings time, you have my vote. Another big thing that's starting tomorrow is the next mystery sew along. This one is a mega mystery. So mega mystery is a throw size quilt. The clues get emailed to you. There are a couple of ways to participate. So if you are interested, just scan that QR code and you will get all of the information about how to join us. We also have our registration open for our Color for Quilters class. That starts in January, where we are going to go through a whole bunch of fun and information and a little bit of homework, but it's fun homework because it's sewing to get you comfortable around color. So it will be a great year-long class. We're going to meet once a month for the whole year, and it'll be fabulous and fun and designed to build your confidence in color. And then we've got Stitch Lab. Our meeting for November is coming up relatively soon. Hopefully everyone who participates has received their taupe fabric. So that is going to be the starting point for this. It is not too late to sign up for Stitch Lab if you are interested in a fun, lovely, wonderful, very supportive community of stitchers just like you. And you can be any kind of stitcher, a quilter, a seamstress, a cross stitcher, embroiderer, crochet, knitter. I think I'm running out of stitches. If you're any kind of stitcher, do consider joining us. It is a just lovely, wonderful, supportive environment where we get together and work on a challenge each month, and then very community driven, very member driven on what those next challenges are. And my role here, Gotham's role here, is just to hopefully provide something fun and extra to go along with those challenges to just spark your creativity to get you started. So Stitch Lab, it's a great time. Sign up for a year at a time. The meetings are virtual on Zoom, and those are Thursdays at I believe 7 p.m. Yep, 7 p.m. It's the second or third Thursday. The information, please don't trust my memory. The information is in that QR code. And I do want to give an update on the gathered. An email went out to all of those who are affected, but if you were waiting for the gathered book, I'm going to put this up here, but I guess you could still pre-order. We ordered some extra, so you should be just fine here. But the gathered book was supposed to be delivered in October. Unfortunately, that did not happen due to some things that were just out of everyone's control. And so it looks like the new delivery date is December. So if you had your eye on that gathered book, or if you were waiting for it to come out in for real before you purchased it, you got just a little bit longer to wait, and it sounds like December is when that's there. But it'll be a perfect time for Christmas, a perfect gift for yourself or your other quilty friend. Gathered is Jen Kingwill's new book that is full of quilt patterns and fabulous recipes all together. It just brings in one place the best parts of being with others, with friends and family. So that is the scoop. That is live with Gotham Quilts. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to sign up for that Sarah Felke. Oh, Eileen says no more daylight savings time, especially in Hawaii. I believe that. Boy, that is crazy. Oh, thanks, Mom. The second Thursday is Stitch Lab. But yeah, I can only imagine Hawaii is pretty brutal. Like you guys have a hard enough time with time zones anyway, being way out there. Daylight savings time does not help, I imagine. But in any event, We're very excited that you joined us, whether you are watching us live or on the replay. Thanks so much. And we will see you same bat time, same bat channel at next week's live with Gotham Quilts. That is Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you then, if not before. And I really hope before.